Welcome to Viking Recreation Center in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts for this final round match it's from June 2007 in the Massachusetts South Shore Candlepin Tour. This was the final event of the '07 season, and in the final round, John Zappi is facing Bob Whitcomb. John won the semifinals, which we saw last week in a exciting high-scoring match against Skip Easterbrooks. Really clutch string of marks toward the end of that match to win his way into the finals against Bob Whitcomb, who defeated Jay Kovitz in the semis. John Zappi begins with a 9 on lane 7 here at Viking. He'll move over to lane 8 in the TV style match play format. John Zappi and Bob Whitcomb, as I'm sure you know, are teammates on the Maria's Subs team in the Friday Night Pro League and also in the World's Team Tournament. They have won that tournament, and both John and Bob have distinguished themselves in many singles tournaments over the years. Both a couple of the top competitors on the tour, as I'm sure. And John, off to a slow start with 16 after 2, but there's a lot more to be seen between these two bowlers. Bob Whitcomb stepping up on lane 7. Bob, you might recall, he was in the days of the Comcast Candlepin Challenge. One year, he was the guy holding the big check at the end of the year for winning the season-ending championship match. And Bob is also going to be open in the first box, as was John Zappi. He'll begin with an 8. Bob has, as you might be aware, has also been a competitor in pro duckpin tournaments from time to time, and he's enjoyed some success there. He's an excellent duckpin bowler. His delivery is pretty much the same. Translates very well to duckpins. And he drops 8 in the second box and has no trouble converting that 2-pinner 610 with plenty of lumber in front of it. So Bob will jump out to an early lead. But again, the strength of this tournament shows overall the quality fields that used to show up for these South Shore Tour events. There were some other guys, Jim Kelly, Hugh Ferguson, Fred Spintig Jr. used to bowl them. A number of really excellent bowlers who maybe haven't had as high visibility in recent years, but they really came out of the woodwork to compete in the South Shore Tour. It was a lot of fun to come out and see some really legendary guys coming out to compete. John Zappi has a 10 in the third box, uncharacteristically missing the 2-pinner on the second ball. So he's open in his first 3 boxes. And a light hit on the 1-3 side in the fourth. He's got that 2, 4, 7, and 9. Some wood that looks pretty favorable. This one often goes when you just plow the wood back and it takes the 3, and something goes over to take the 9. And that's what happens here. That was nicely positioned. When you just clip the head pin, it sits down in front of that 2-pin and often is a lot of help. Bob Whitcomb with a 6 drop. very light hit. He's looking at 4, 7, 8, and 10, and he has some wood that is likely to come into play. Let's see what he can do with it. Wow, and that is a great shot by Bob Whitcomb to convert that split. Taking a look at it, he actually hits the 4-pin directly here, but the wood causes the 4-pin to fly across, and it comes off the wall and takes out the 10. I'm not sure if it was in front of or behind, but anyway, that was a great shot by Bob. And he drops 6 on the spare, leaving the 3, 5, 6, 10, the check mark, as it's sometimes called. Difficult spare, but it is a spare leave nonetheless. Bob goes by the 3-pin, so he will be open in the 4th. And that'll be a 9 box. So, as you can see through 4, Bob Whitcomb has 49, and John Zappi has 36 with a ball to roll as he comes up to complete the 4th frame and start the 5th. And John Zappi with a nice 1-3 pocket hit. Dropping 7, he's got 5, 7, 8. Piece of wood behind the 5 and 8. It looks like it's frozen on it, and there's another piece of wood between the 7 and 8, and this might help him. And it does, as you can see. When I went down, surprisingly drama-free shot right there. I think that second wood was in deep enough so that it was really covering that 7-pin pretty completely. So John was able to make short work of that spare leave. And he hits full on the head pin here. He's dropped 7. And this one is going to be considerably more challenging than the last spare. Can't really find a way that he can make it, but let's see what he can do. And he just goes to the left side, punches out the 4, so he's got 2 left. And that's gonna go. That's a 10 box. That's a nice shot for a 10. Take another look at it as this rolling wood comes over to take out the 7-pin. So now Bob Whitcomb returns to lane 7. And he misses the head pin left pretty much as he did in the first box, but he's got some late pin action going on there, leaving the 1 and the 10, and that piece of wood behind the head pin could be helpful. But it isn't, it turns out. He hits pretty full on the head pin and pushes it back. Nothing touches the 10 pin. So that's a 9, giving Bob 58 through 5. Bob is from Halifax, Massachusetts. Not Halifax, Nova Scotia. In the South Shore area. Used to be on the way to Hanson Bowl and that area when we used to go to those tournaments. And a nice bid. He had the check mark on the other side, 2, 4, 5, 7, and nice bid, but he was a little bit too light on the 2-pin, so he didn't get the 5. He does get it for 10. John Zappi coming up in the 7th box with a 2-pin lead, as you see on the graphic. Solid 1-2 pocket hit. Actually a little bit too solid. He's got the 3, 4, 6, 10. Piece of wood behind the 3 and 6. And kind of full on the 3 pin. And that goes. That piece of wood. Let's take a look at it. You don't even have to slow this one down. The piece of wood comes over, and then the 4 pin falls and kind of accelerates that pin going back over to get the 10. So that's a nice spare. And a strike on spare in the 8th. This is just a hammer. Solid 1 3 pocket high flush, and the 10 pin is the last to go. So that, with a 2 pin lead coming into the 7th frame, he puts 2 marks on the board. So Bobby Witt is going to have to step it up to see if he can keep the pace with John Zappi. Difficult leave here. 5 drop. Makeable, but not an easy leave. And he hits that pin a little too full. So Bob will be open in the 7th. Just the 6-10 to clean up. And he does. 10 box. So Bob is now down by 12 and up against that strike in the 8th by John Zappi. And he throws a strike of his own right on time. So that was pretty much mandatory at this point for Bob Whitcomb, because he's down by 12, but he does at least keep pace with John in the 8th box with the strike. So with 2 boxes remaining, John Zappi carries that 12 pin lead as he fills the strike in the 8th. Hits the head pin quite full. He's got the big 4, the 4, 6, 7, 10, couple of pieces of wood. Neither one of them looks terribly promising for making the shot, but he might be just trying to get the maximum pin count, take care of business on the strike fill. And he goes to the left and just takes that one, so that's a 7 fill on the strike in the 8th, and he'll be trying to finish the 9th with some pin count, and he's got a 9 in the 9th. So he had the 12 pin lead going in, and he added 7 to the strike and the 9, so still a fairly comfortable lead. But Bob Whitcomb is Bob Whitcomb, and he can do anything, as I'm sure you know. John Zappi with a 9 drop, fortunate to get that 5 pin to come down with wood coming off the wall. And John with the spare in the 10th, that's pretty big. That's going to force Bob Whitcomb to really have a big last 2 boxes if he wants to come back in this match. John has 1 more ball to complete the string. Nice solid 1-2 pocket hit, 7 fill on the spare. So Bob Whitcomb comes up for his last 2 boxes, needing a lot. He needs 2 marks. Needs a big fill and 2 marks. And that's a half Worcester. I apologize for the camera. If I recall, I had delegated responsibility of pointing the camera at this point, and or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. In any case, that is a 5 fill on the strike for Bob Whitcomb, and that is just about going to do it, I think. $5, he's not happy with that. So that actually that does it right there, because even with a triple, Bob wouldn't have enough to catch John Zappi. So John Zappi is the winner of this Massachusetts South Shore Candlepin Tour event at Viking Recreation in East Bridgewater. We'll show you the scoreboard as soon as Bob finishes up. A nice little shot for a 10 box by Bob. So let's go to the scoreboard and we will show you the final result. John Zappi 133 to 108 over Bob Whitcomb in this final match of the Massachusetts South Shore Candlepin Tour event at Viking Recreation Center in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. This was from June of 2007.